Welcome to Real Talk Wrestling. I'm your host, Josh. With me is a full staff tonight. We got Chris Koff for the Ultimate Babyface, and we have Miami Clutch PE Dolphins over here. Guys, I was watching Raw before the show, and I did have a great joke lined up with all of our favorite teams on there, but I figured it's going to be a flop. So let's get, just like Ricky Saints is, let's get right into that because this is the biggest news of the week, in my opinion. Obviously, we see this picture right here. Ricky Saints is officially the name he's going with in NXT. We all know him as Ricky Starks. We've known him as Ricky Starks for a very long time. Will we get used to Ricky Saints? I'm going to go with Clutch because he is the NXT expert over here.
Yeah, I don't know what this was. Probably was a WWE thing because I'm assuming Zoe Starks and they wanted to separate the names, whatever. But to your question, I don't care. I mean, I remember a time when everybody and their mother was freaking out because Walter was no longer Walter and he was buried and it was over for him and everything was done, and then he ended up being the longest reigning IC champion of all time and the current world heavyweight champion. So not worried about names. Everybody's gonna get used to Ricky Saints in about a month, so it's fine.
I agree with that. I think I blue skied that out. I was like, everyone hated Walter or the Walter to Gunther change, but we got used to it. You know, Raquel Rodriguez, she used to be Raquel Gonzalez. The other day, I was trying to think of her NXT name, and I actually had to Google it because I totally forgot it was Raquel Gonzalez. So we do get used to these things, and it's overblown right from the start every single time. And everything happens. SmackDown logo. Oh, what is that? SSS or whatever, right? We all when change happens, nobody likes it. Nobody likes change. So that being said, Chris, you're the AEW mark. You've been there since day one. Ricky Starks is a day oneer. Are you different question? I know we spoke about this a little bit, but are you going to start watching NXT? Have you been paying attention? Because one of your favorites is on Tuesday nights now.
Am I going to start watching? I don't know if I'll watch for one person. I might watch. I'll just go. I'm not going to go watch a whole show for one person. No.
Well,
I'll
I mean,
go on and
like YouTube or whatever, right?
Yeah, I'll go keep up with what he's doing over there for sure. Because he was one of my favorites. He's one that we've been saying on the show for months. We cannot wait for him to make the move to WWE because he wasn't being used in AEW and he was going to definitely fit the WWE mold better. So I'm looking forward to Ricky Saints in WWE. It's going to take some time to get used to, for sure.
DSG says he's never heard of him. I think he's trolling. I think everyone knows Ricky Starks. When he debuted in the NXT Dome, whatever they call it. What do they call it? Performance Center, I guess. Everyone was chanting Ricky Starks, and they didn't say his name on purpose. And then we were told, Fightful or whoever said, oh, they're going to go with Ricky Starks. My question about the name changes, I wonder, because Ethan Page kept it, Sean Spears, right? Basically, Jay Cargill. Everyone kept their name. But my question is, I wonder if those people like Jay Cargill, do they have to trademark that with WWE or whatever? So therefore, like she can't use the name Jay Cargill to make money anywhere else. So maybe Ricky Starks was like, nah, I'll just change my name. So you can't trademark my name. I don't know. I don't know how that works because Ricky Starks is his real name. I just thought the word Saints. Then it clicked. Oh wait, he's from New Orleans. Okay, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. I don't love it. I was okay with him making a change for the reason you just said, and for the reason Clutch said as well. It could be one of those or both of those reasons. And as Clutch brought up, like we've kind of grown used to it. The fact that we don't like it at the time, but in 6 months from now, it'll be fine. But I don't know. It sounds weird. Ricky Saints. Like, I don't know. It just something feels weird about it. But I'm not gonna worry too much about it. It is what it is.
Clutch, when you hear someone's name, a wrestler's name, do you think, oh well, now they're never gonna be world championship because their name sucks? Like, do you think about that? Because I do. Penta. I'm sorry, I love Penta, but he's never gonna be a world champion with the name Penta.
Oh, I remember this conversation just real quick. You always brought this up with Jungle Boy. That was always
always.
your big thing. Like, he's never going to win a title as Jungle Boy.
It's true though. Am I wrong?
No, you're not. So I mean, it's a good point.
Right. So what do you think? Do you think that matters, Clutch, at all, especially in the WWE landscape?
I mean, it depends on the person. I mean, I don't necessarily agree on the Penta thing because I don't know.
Okay.
If you sell merch, you can win titles. That's the way I see it with WWE. And like, and I really don't think Ricky Saints is a bad name. It's really it's coded similar along. If you really think about it, like Roman Reigns. Like, what the hell's a Reigns? And I mean, obviously everybody's used to it now. It's popular as hell. But back then, what the hell's a Reigns? Like, if you really think about these names, like, okay, fuck is an Ambrose?
But
You know?
okay, I get your point. No, I get your point. Trying to think of I was actually trying to think of other weird names that we have in the WWE. And Austin Theory. Never heard of Theory as a last name for anyone. So I get it. Your point. It's just the word. I don't know. When you go from Ricky Saints to Starks, or Starks to Saints, either way you want to look at it, it's because it has that same starting like S to it. Like, so where I am going to be, it's going to be hard for me to transition because it starts with an S. So, and I've known Ricky Starks as Ricky Starks for X amount of years in the other company, AEW. So whenever I do watch him as a fan of his, who's watched his product, I go, oh, that's Ricky Starks. That's Ricky Saints. So that's going to be a transition for me. I'm bad with names like that. So I don't know. It's just kind of confusing to someone like me. That's all. But I'll leave it at that.
It's very different because if it's an established legend, like for example, Cope, you're like, okay, what the fuck? Sorry, Bobby. But I mean, Ricky Starks, up and coming guy, he's got plenty of wrestling ahead of him, so he can afford a name change. It's not like you're bringing in, I don't know, random guy, Jeff Hardy, and changing him into something else.
I want to address this comment because yes, I always thought Kofi Kingston was a world champion material. When they shortened it down to Kofi, I still thought that way because he was already established as Kofi Kingston. It's kind of like whenever we mention Randy Orton. Sometimes we just say Orton to me. So like when I reference wrestlers, Cody, no one says Cody Rhodes. We say Cody. So that's why I thought, okay, he didn't change it. Kofi Kingston didn't change his name from Kofi Kingston to Kofi Kingman, right? Like something similar. No, it was just Kofi at that point. So that's the difference there, DSG. I'm just trying to think of other weird names that won titles, and I don't really see them. Like, you know what I was talking to my friend about? Rey Mysterio. What a silly name, Mysterio, right? Like, what is that? Mystery? Like, as a kid, that's what I always thought. Like, what is he, a mystery or something like that? Then you have the question mark, so I get it. But now that he was world champion, I never would. I guess if a Rey Mysterio never existed and a Rey Mysterio came to the WWE now, I'd be like, that's so dumb. He's never going to win a title. He's just Rey Mysterio. What a stupid name. So I guess we got to keep an open mind. That's all.
Yeah.
Keep an open mind.
I don't think it will hold him back from winning a title. No.
No.
It's still just weird. Not. Saints. I don't know. I'd be okay with a change, but just Saints just sounds weird to me.
How long till he gets a call up? Year?
Probably something around then. I mean, I think that's the baseline for these new people coming in. That they said Julia's more than ready in ring for like a main roster spot, and they're gonna keep her down for probably a year. Same thing for what's her name, Stephanie. So like, and it just happened right now. Jordan Grace. I mean, she's more than ready for the main roster. She's already introduced to the fans. So, and she's starting in NXT. So, and they have a small, I guess, transition period, and it might depend on the person.
And plus, there's too much going on.
That's the other thing I was going to get at. It's also going to depend on what other wrestlers are available and busy and have good stories, or healthy versus injured. So if everything stays the course, about a year sounds right to get him into the WWE mold the way that they want it.
As long as they don't call him up for the sake of calling him up. Because they do that, they used to do that a lot, and they did it recently with I forgot somebody, and they just got lost in the shuffle.
I'll tell you who. Can I say who I think they called up too early? You might disagree with this, Clutch, and I'm not just being a dick. Sorry, Bobby. I think they called up Carmelo Hayes too early. They're doing nothing with him, in my opinion.
I don't think they called him up too early. I think they just booked him wrong. I think he could be U.S. champion right now.
No, I agree with that. But I think that falls in line with our point is there's too many stories and stars right now. WWE is very top heavy loaded right now, so it's very hard for anyone to find a spot. So that's why I was totally against this IC women's title in the US women's title. I was against it. I didn't think there was enough women or stories. But I'm actually like finding myself, oh wow, is Ivy Niles freaking watching Ivy Niles versus Dakota Kai match today? Like, and I'm rooting for Ivy. I like legit did, and I'm rooting for Ivy Niles because I kind of want that faction to be something. I'm rooting for the Creeds and Ivy because I want them to win gold because I want Chad Gable to have a legit like. So I'm interested in this now, where that wasn't there before. So that these little mini titles and mini feuds are opening up doors for other people to come in and take spots. But think about it right now. If Ricky Starks came in on SmackDown, Ricky Saints. If Ricky Saints, see, it's going to be difficult. If Ricky Saints debuted on SmackDown, nobody would care because guess what? You have Solo, Fatu, Roman, Cody. Where's Orton at? Sami Zayn. You have all this stuff going on SmackDown. He would get lost in the shuffle. Whereas NXT, he is now I don't know. I haven't watched. I said I would. It's February 20th. I still haven't watched one episode. Trying. He might be the face of this brand for a full year. We don't know. I don't know where he's being booked right now. I know that he signed a contract. I don't know what the contract was for. I don't know what it was. What was that, Clutch?
The contract was just, a standard wrestling contract.
And that was that was an NXT contract.
His first match is just going to be against Wesley. And he's already positioned to be like the top face of the brand. Like the baby face of the brand because they have Trick Williams, but that's kind of like fizzled out a little bit.
Trick's a good guy?
Yeah, he's still a good guy. He just lost recently to like Eddie Thorpe or something like that. And kind of fizzled out.
Don't know who that is.
Yeah.
But I do know who Trick Williams is. But Derek Bone Break says, he tries to watch AEW for a few minutes and Ricky Starks was one of the few bright spots. I'm just paraphrasing his comment. And there are a little bit of bright spots in AEW. And I'll tell you guys this, not that we're going to have a whole conversation of AEW, but for the past 2 to 3 weeks, their shows have been, I'm not going to say really good, because we all watch that Thunder Rosa thing that we're going to talk about. I'm not going to say really good, but I will say good. Besides the Jericho segments, Bobby Lashley's been awesome. The Hurt Syndicate have been complete awesomeness. Megan Bayne, the woman that you saw, let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
Megan Bayne is a very new wrestler for AEW. She just debuted maybe about a month ago. She's huge. She's gigantic. She's an athlete. She's really good. Like I don't know why she didn't go to NXT. She's very good. And she's the now muscle for Penelope Ford. I know none of you all know this, but they're getting Penelope Ford up there in the card. Like they're making sure she's a main factor right now in that mid-card division. Megan Bayne just wrestled Chris Statlander in a match on Dynamite and pinned her kind of clean. Penelope Ford kind of got involved. 1, 2, 3. And I'm setting this up for the people who didn't see it. So then the heels jump on Chris Statlander and start beating her up. And then here's what happens next. Thunder Rosa comes out. She's the baby face, comes out with a chair. What do you guys think the heels did? Scattered away, ran away, talked trash, ran away because they're scared because they're heels? Like any other wrestling segment would do? That's not what happened, Chris?
That's not what happened.
Well, I'll tell you what happened. Next, Thunder Rosa threatens to hit these women with a chair, and they laugh in her fucking face. Sorry, Bobby. They laugh in her face. The heels are laughing in a babyface save. I've never seen this in my entire life. Now, Clutch, you said something in our private chat. We thought the Nia Jax chair softs were bad until you saw this. And here's my rebuttal. Nia Jax and Naomi planned that spot. They tried to go through with it, and it sucked. It is what it is. These 3 women had a plan, and I believe Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford said, screw this. We're not doing this. And here's why. Thunder Rosa was publicly on Twitter congratulating Ricky Saints on his debut at NXT. And we know how petty Tony Khan is. Do you think he told these women to bury Thunder Rosa on TV? Hey, we're going to do this. They're going to run out. You're going to threaten them with a chair. But then Tony Khan's like, nah, make her look like an idiot. Because didn't Thunder Rosa look like a complete moron?
She looked bad. It was so awkward. Like when you told us to watch the clip, I hadn't seen or even heard anything of that. So I didn't know what was going on. And that was like super cringy. Just I'm gonna hit you, and like they just didn't flinch, and then she was like just looked all goofy, like she had no idea what she was doing. By them not selling it at all, she looked horrible.
Yeah, she looked awful. Clutch, would you want that to be your savior, Thunder Rosa?
Not really, because I mean, I would have just gone into business for myself at that point, just started swinging.
Yeah,
just get out of the way.
Yeah.
Well, she was the only professional one there, I think, and we've seen Adam Page do it to CM Punk. Look, we've seen many wrestlers in AEW go off script and do whatever they want. I truly believe they set her up to look like a complete moron. And it sucked because you know what gave it away to me? At the very end of I don't know how long you guys watched it, but at the very end when the heels were laughing and walking down the ramp and Thunder Rosa just tosses the chair at her. That right there told me like, oh, you want the chair? You want to make me look like a full hero? Here's the chair. And you saw Megan Bayne just laugh at her. Now, when Jey Uso came out last night on Raw, Monday Night on Raw, and confronted Gunther, did Gunther just laugh at him? Do nothing, no sell it? No, that would make Jey Uso look like a moron.
Yep.
So, I don't know, man. As soon as I think AEW takes like 2 steps up, they take like 5 steps down with that. That was embarrassing. It was embarrassing. So,
yeah.
That's
and when I jumped on Twitter to grab the link to jump into tonight's show, I opened Twitter. It's just that video clip. It's just my feed right now, over and over again.
It's really bad.
So bad.
I don't know, Clutch. That's just. I don't know how anyone could want to sign with AEW at this point in their life.
No.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Like, why go work there? It's not worth it.
At this point, genuinely go to developmental, to go to NXT, spend some time there. It's actually more popular. There are more viewers there. It's fine. If you're a woman, you have no business signing in AEW.
Especially someone like Megan Bayne, who's like talented and big and strong, and she can make an impact. Probably on NXT for sure, but definitely on the main roster at some point. But one last thing before we go back to the real wrestling show. AEW had an Australian show. I don't know if any of you caught it. Chris, you said you didn't. Clutch, did you see any of this?
I saw 2 things out of it and just clips off Twitter. The people singing Edge's song, Cope's song, or whatever, and people booing Tony Khan. That's the only thing I saw from the show.
So the Cope entrance was special. That was genuinely special. I had goosebumps watching that part where he came out and they were singing his song, and he legit looked like he was about to cry because you can tell he hasn't felt like that ever since leaving WWE. You can tell he hasn't felt the fans because every time he comes out, Chris, what does he do? Runs to the left, runs to the right, and does this, come on. But there's no one ever there when he does that.
Yeah.
So this time there was, and he felt like a different wrestler at this point. He wrestled pretty well that night. That was actually a really good match. Tony Khan getting booed was awesome. I think he deserves it. And I think that's why he's doing some things. The shows are looking better. He's releasing talent that wants to get released. I think he's tired of being the bad guy. I think he's realizing he is Vince. So hopefully this continues and he does make the show better and make improvements because we're all happy.
Speaking of changes in the show, on that Thunder Rosa clip, I couldn't help but notice they went back to the COVID angle, camera angle. Is that like a new thing now, or
what did you say? I'm sorry, I was reading DSG's comments. I'm sorry. Listen, it's not a gimmick, brother.
No one's gonna watch. It's too bad right now.
All right, sorry, Chris.
So I was saying I couldn't help but notice in that Thunder Rosa clip that the camera angle reminded me of the COVID days because there was nobody in the crowd, so they had the idea of put the Titantron in the background. Yep. Has that been like a normal thing for them lately, or was that a special one-off show?
Collision, yeah. Collision's been like that lately, yeah.
Okay.
But not Dynamite. Dynamite's been pretty they get the regular 2,500 people there, but Collision's pretty bad. So,
No.
what's going on, Justin? We're just making fun of the Thunder Rosa. I'd love to get your comments and our opinions of that Thunder Rosa botch in the chat. Was it a work? Was that planned? Or did the bad guys just go in the business for themselves and make her look like an idiot? And usually Thunder Rosa is the one who doesn't sell. She's the one who sandbags. She's the one who doesn't put anyone over. So it's kind of weird to see the shoe on the other foot. But I do want to say
maybe that's why they did it. Someone was doing it back to her.
Yeah, because 2 wrongs definitely make a right.
Mm-hmm.
2 more thoughts on the Australian show, then we'll move on. The ring was too small. I'm sure you guys heard about that.
Yep.
It was very small, very bouncy. I can tell in the very first match the referee was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm like, all right, this is weird. Like, it was extremely bouncy. Kenny Omega, Will Ospreay, Kyle Fletcher, and Takeshita, I have written down for my match of the year. That was a phenomenal tag team match. It's definitely going to be on my short list of match of the year. So, Chris, if you get a chance, it's on Max. I would watch that match because you love Kenny Omega and Takeshita, and they were all great. They were all great. Will Ospreay, that match, Clutch. I even asked if you want to watch that match, you should too. I'll give you my Max login. Great match. And my last thing on the Australia show, Toni Storm, so good, so over. I'm glad she won. I'm actually into that gimmick. Oh, and Mercedes was great, by the way. She's still the best women's wrestler alive.
No. The worst.
Yes, she was great. And Harley, what's her name? The puppet girl? She's great too. I don't know her last name though. Justin, what's her last name? I don't know who it is. Do you guys know who I'm talking about? The Australian girl?
Yeah.
That raps?
So let me get this straight. You're back on Timeless Toni Storm?
Yeah, I think it's good.
I thought you hated that.
No, I like it.
You were tired of it.
I like it now. I like it because she went over and I liked whenever as soon as she revealed that she was just acting the whole time. Bad timing because it was on Collision. I loved the angle. I love that setup. I thought that was genius. I thought it was cool. We haven't seen an amnesia story before on wrestling, or not that I know of. I thought it was interesting. I thought it was different.
You're gonna love it until next week when you tell us it's the worst.
Harley Cameron, by the way. And Justin in the chat, please vouch for me. Sasha Mercedes is amazing.
Trash.
She was great
Straight
that night.
Trash.
Yeah. Okay.
So you flipped your opinion on 2 women's wrestlers today.
No.
Yeah.
She's still awkward. No. The dance and the promos and everything sucks. But I told this on Bobby on Saturday night. Her character sucks. Her gimmick sucks. Everything about what she does outside of the ring sucks. It's awful. It's rich, like B-level movie bad. She's still the best women's wrestler in the world. Period. She still is. So I'll still hang on to that. Her finish sucks too, by the way, but it's okay. But she's still the best. She can still do more than any other woman on any roster.
She just does all these things god awful, but she's the best.
Her finish is awful.
By the way, how many millions of viewers were there this week to watch her? Because I was told it was going to be in the millions.
Well, they don't release the max numbers, so we don't know.
We don't know.
Yeah, it could be 2
Probably
million.
Could be 5 million. They're all there to watch Mercedes now, right?
I sure.
Because she's the best.
She is. Yeah. Anyway, moving back on the WWE, the better product of the moment. The Elimination Chamber has been set. There's John Cena. Is it set, Clutch? I think it's set, right? All 6 are in?
Set.
Yes.
Yeah, so
all
we
6.
have John Cena, Seth Rollins, Logan Paul, CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, and
Damian Priest.
I was getting there. We know Drew and Damian are going to have a program at WrestleMania. We know it's a possibility that Seth versus Roman at WrestleMania. So that leaves Cena, Punk left to win this match. Do you guys think that in any way possibility that this can become a triple threat match with Cody Rhodes? Any way possible? Clutch, I'm going to go with you because you're the WWE viewer at the moment. Or do we think it's just going to be CM Punk wins and that's what we get?
I mean, Elimination Chambers usually have definitive winners. So I don't remember screwy finishes where you can have 2 claims for the winning spot at WrestleMania. And I guess there could be different ways of getting there. I would absolutely love to be the final two, be John Cena and CM Punk, and that would be really cool. And the nostalgia will hit me right in the feels. But that would be. I don't know. I don't know because the early rumor was Cena and Cody. After they kind of made clear that Rock wasn't wrestling at WrestleMania, so it was Cena and Cody, and then Punk and Cody had their thing before the Rumble, and I thought, okay, this is the direction they're gonna go. So I have no idea. I would love a triple threat. I think it'd be fun.
I think in the end, it's going to be just a one-on-one match. Punk. I think it's Punk. I think Punk's going to win. I think he's going to wrestle Cody. You're shaking your head no. I don't think it's Cena's time right now. I don't think it's right. I know you're shaking your head. I can easily see Logan Paul pinning Cena, setting up that match that's rumored in the Elimination Chamber, ending his reign, his chase at WrestleMania. So that's where we can get Logan Paul. And maybe CM Punk gets his revenge there after he pins Cena. CM Punk can get back at Logan for, eliminating him from the Rumble. And I think that's my final two. I think my final two are going to be CM Punk and Logan Paul. And I think that CM Punk's going to come out on top. And I do think that's the direction we're going because that's what the fans want. It's more interesting. And John Cena hasn't won a match yet. And I think it's kind of BS. And I get that why he did it because he's filming a story or a movie right now. I get it. But just go, oh, I think I deserve it. I've been here for 10,000 years. I haven't won a match in 8 years. So I think I deserve it. Like bullshit. Okay. So Kevin Nash can say on his podcast, I've been there for so many years. I think I deserve it. Put me in.
Yep. It's Cena time. Cena's going over.
That's the first time like Cena has publicly Hulk Hogan himself into a match.
Yeah.
Publicly.
Yep.
Well, here's the thing. And DSG just put it right here. And here's another reason why I'm glad that he said this. If Punk pins Cena, he can cry at the post presser again. That's another thing they want to avoid. I don't think they want CM Punk pinning Cena, and I don't think they want the other way around either just yet because they're going to have their own singles match, I believe. I think. So why would they burn that here when you could have easily CM Punk, boom, go to sleep to Cena, Logan Paul gets the brass knucks, hits CM Punk, whatever it is, whatever. CM Punk pins Cena, or not CM Punk. Logan Paul pins Cena, laughs, haha, I'm a heel, boom, CM Punk. Because that protects Cena from getting pinned from Punk, so that story is still alive. They can still have that match. I think they have to. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. I like this whole. It can go any way. The only thing we know it's not going to happen is it's not going to be Drew or Priest or Logan Paul. There's no way Logan Paul versus Cody's going to happen.
Cody.
Yeah. But I'll tell you what, this isn't even the match I'm interested in the most because it's unsanctioned. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. I think that's got to be the main event, right? If they're going to copy AEW and do a lights out match.
I don't think it's so. I think the Chamber's going to be the main event.
Yeah.
Well, if it's unsanctioned and it's the middle of the show. I
think they've done unsanctioned matches before in the middle of the show.
Okay, so you can do that.
They got to remember to flicker the lights a few times, right?
That's what I was thinking. Like the show's over. Now we have this unsanctioned match. I don't know.
Turn the lights on and off a few times. that avoids them of all legal responsibilities. Is that how it works?
I guess so. Now that Karrion Kross is getting involved, do we see? Because every time, oh God. By the way, before I give my opinion, because I think you know where I'm going. Are you interested in Karrion Kross even a slight bit with this whole Sami Zayn situation, Clutch?
It's weird because I hate Karrion Kross on TV, but I love Karrion Kross on social media, which is funny. But yeah, I have no interest in seeing him go on to WrestleMania and maybe wrestle Sami Zayn because that's just taking a spot from more talented people on the roster right now. So yeah, the only reason I'm into like Sami and KO right now, and because one, it's in Canada, so hot crowd for both of them. And we can move on to finally Randy coming back and hopefully punting KO right in the head, and that'd be fun. So yeah.
I'm predicting it right now. That's the main event. I'm predicting it right now. That is the main event of Elimination Chamber, for sure. It's in Toronto. They're both Canadian, obviously, right? And they're going to tear the house down. I don't think anything can follow them because I think the crowd's going to be into that match, and I think that that's going to be a crazy hot match. I'm predicting. I might be wrong. I'm going on a limb, but I think that's going to be the main event, and we'll see later on. But I think that's going to happen.
I would agree with you, but I said the exact same things that you're saying about. I think it was not this past Backlash, but the one before. I was like, yeah, Bad Bunny and Damian Priest, they have to main event. They're both from Puerto Rico. It's going to be a hot match. Blah, blah, blah. Nope. Middle of the show.
I agree with. Okay, I'm gonna not sound like a dick here. I promise. But I love Bad Bunny, and I think he did great. I do, but he's not Sami Zayn or Kevin Owens. And I think that their rivalry, like they said it on Raw. Sami Zayn said it on Raw. Like we went from the Indies here, like all this journey to here again. It's one of the greatest rivalries of all time. It's like Duke and North Carolina, right? Up to me. To me, it is. Chris, I know it is for you. And I think that these guys can put on a banger match. Now, either way, I don't care where they put it on the show. It's just with the non-sanctioned match rules. I think Triple H is going to play it like, oh, now the show's over. Now we can have this match. But I could be wrong. It doesn't matter either way. Karrion Kross is a victim of VKM. I hope that, he was, with the mask killed him. The mask really killed him. And taking Scarlett away from him at the very start, that destroyed him. And losing to Jeff Hardy, like on his first match ever on Raw or Smack, whatever it was.
Oh, yeah. It was awful.
Yeah. I mean, he was mega over in NXT. I loved him in NXT. I really don't care about him right now. Like every time I see him on TV, I kind of want to change the channel. Yeah. And I think it's because he hasn't done anything significant at all.
Yeah.
I think getting him away from the Arth. Go ahead.
I was going to say, do you think he would benefit from going back down to NXT and then coming back up later?
No, that's the kiss of death. Okay. I feel like when guys go down there, like Baron Corbin or Apollo Crews, like you're kind of done.
That means you're done.
I mean, you're not coming back up at that point.
And if you do, it's gonna be hard for you to get over because that's the guy when like Grayson Waller and Austin Theory right now. I'm calling it right now. They're dead.
Did Finn go back down for a while or no?
He did. You're right.
For like a little bit, right?
He did as the Prince, and it's when he came out as a heel, and it was really good. But that's one of the rare people that came back. But he's not. What has he done since he's come back? He's had title shots. He's a big character on Raw. But other than that, like that's all he is. He's just a glorified jobber at this point.
Yeah, he's an upper card jobber.
He is. But again, is he ever going to win the WWE title ever again? I highly doubt it.
Not with the other people they have there.
Yeah, when you get sent down, it's kind of like we're done with you, buddy. It's unfortunate. But anyway, no more sad news on that. One last thing I do want to talk about before we get out of here, and let me know if I missed anything because I'm kind of going everywhere. Hall of Fame. Michelle McCool. Just because is she going to go in as the Undertaker's wife, or does she actually deserve this spot, Clutch? Because I think it's ridiculous.
Okay, she's going in because she's the Undertaker's wife, but also Stacy Keibler's in the Hall of Fame. So, yeah. Donald Trump's in the Hall of Fame.
Oh gosh, don't remind me.
Do they have limits on how many people can go in each year?
Not really, but it's usually around like what 6, 5?
Because it's not like the NFL, is it? Where they got we can put in X amount of people and you got to be voted in, and it's just kind of
Chris
whoever's available. There's no real rules.
It's who can show up. Honestly, that's what it is. Who can show up? Oh, you can't do it this year? Okay, we'll get you in later.
That's what next year.
Yeah, I mean that's what happened with Batista. He was supposed to be in the Hall of Fame already, and COVID happened, and no more Hall of Fame so far.
So, he didn't even get. See, he should have been someone, but he's a headliner, I think. But I will say this: I just don't understand that until the Hall of Fame's like legit and there's real votes, like you just mentioned, Chris, or there's real restrictions. Anyone can get into the Hall of Fame, and I think it's kind of like watered down at this point. I wish they didn't put Michelle McCool in, but she did do some big things back in the day. Like I remember her; she was on top with Lay Cool for a while, and they had that really really good program with Mickey James. Like I was a Michelle McCool fan. It's just if we're just putting average people in, like is Bailey a Hall of Famer? I think she's great.
I mean, all four horsewomen are Hall of Famers at this point.
I always kind of use the rule of, when it comes to people saying, is somebody worthy of the Football Hall of Fame, right? There was a lot of back and forth about Devin Hester. Is he good enough? Is he not good enough? Whatever. Always got to remember it's not the Hall of Stats, it's the Hall of Fame. So if you were explaining the story of the NFL to someone during his period of time, you would be telling someone about Devin Hester, right? So that I use that same logic. If you're going through wrestling and you're kind of telling people the story of wrestling, whoever you're talking about bringing in or not bringing in, would you skip over everything about them? Or do you feel like they have some stuff that was really important, even if it's something small, kind of like what Devin Hester did? He was a small part of the game, but also a big part of the game during his time. That's why I was good with him getting in. So other people, that's kind of how I use my baseline. So if you were telling the story of wrestling and specifically WWE, when you get to the Michelle McCool era, would you include anything about her? Or would you skip right over her? If you'd skip right over her, then you have an argument she shouldn't be in there. But if you can't really skip over her, then she should be in there.
That's a good point.
That's the way I look at Hall of Fames.
That's a good point. How do you look at Hall of Fames, Clutch?
In Hall of Fames in general, or
yeah, just how do you look at all? That's interesting. I never thought about it that way. I always think about it as the best player from their era. I always think about if you're the best player in your era, like if you're the best, Eli Manning didn't get in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I think it's good with him getting in. He needs to get in. You can't.
He does. You can't tell the story of the NFL without talking about his 2 Super Bowl wins, especially that first one.
I agree.
And he was a part of it. He was a very average player, but you can't tell the story of the NFL without including those Super Bowls. He needs to be in.
Yeah,
the Hall of Fame,
are weird
not the
for
Hall of
me.
Stats.
Because like the NBA Hall of Fame, I'll always watch it, and it's like, okay, like 3 top guys who everybody knows, and then like 3 people who I've never heard of in my life, and it's weird. So
never heard of my life.
So I guess I'm just too young for that, but who knows? Also, I saw a comment about the Hardy Boys in the Hall of Fame, which reminds me, Hardy Boys on NXT next week.
Yes, they are. I saw that. Who are they wrestling?
They're wrestling not Fraxium. Who are they wrestling? Fraxium's opponents. I don't know.
It's okay. Nobody watches NXT.
Eventually, I think they're gonna face Fraxium though.
Oh, that'd be so. I'm. You know what? I'm gonna tune in to watch that because the last time we saw the Hardys together, me and Chris, we don't watch TNA or wherever they. I guess they're in TNA now. Jeff Hardy was so out of it. Matt had to keep on telling him what to do mid-match. Get up.
Okay, yeah, no quarter catch for that's who they're facing. William Regal's kids stable.
That's cool. Yeah, so I hope I'm interested to see how Jeff is. I know Matt's always been slow. He's been slow for the past 15 years. And he's also put on good stories and good matches. So I'm okay with Matt. I'm interested to see how Jeff is. Because last time we saw Jeff, he was trying to do things that he used to do, and he can't do them. And he went on podcasts and said, yeah, I botched on purpose, brother. We're not perfect. I want to show the fans that I'm a human and I make mistakes. Sure, Jeff. That spot where Matt gets on his hands and knees and you jump on his back and do the little kick thing into the corner. Even times he slipped on that in AEW, every single time. He never connected in AEW. Every single time he slipped. So we'll see how he is. We'll see how he is on Monday. I will be watching that. Please text me somebody to remind me. Somebody. But we're gonna get on out of here. There's an important hockey game Chris needs to watch. Who is it, Chris? Who's playing tonight?
It's USA and Canada.
Are they gonna boo the national anthem again?
We have to find out. We'll find out in about 15 minutes. Are they going to open up the game with another round of fights? I sure hope so.
That was insane. Clutch, I know you don't watch. I mean, you watch the Panthers. I get that. But have you been paying attention to this 4 regions tournament?
No, but I did see a clip of a fight, and it was Kachuk, wasn't it?
Yeah, he fought.
Yep, that's the only reason I know about it, because it was Kachuk from the Panthers.
Dude, they had like 4 fights within the first 2
fights.
minutes. It was 3.
I think it was three fights within like the first 30 seconds or something. I mean, they were all planned fights. I mean, it was like drop the puck and let's immediately drop our gloves. It wasn't someone got hit and then they started fighting. It was all pre-planned. So I can't wait to see what they have for an encore tonight.
Hey, NBA, NHL, any other sport that does an all-star game, scrap it and just do something like this, because that's what the NHL did. And the Four Nations tournament, I was against it at first, but I love watching the highlights. And we're not a hockey show, but it's crazy how these players play for their country. It feels like they're playing for the Stanley Cup. So I might tune in a bit tonight. But other than that, we're going to get on out of here. Next week is our preview show for the Chamber, right? Chamber's on the 1st.
Yep.
So next week we'll be actually previewing the entire card. I'll be predicting again that Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn will main event, and the very next week I'll say, "Hey guys, I'm right again. I'm literally always right. It happens all the time."
Did you ever tally up the WrestleMania card or the Royal Rumble card? I mean,
I won. Yeah,
you won.
Yeah.
What was the score?
I won.
Exactly.
No,
exactly. There it is.
I didn't do that. But we'll be back next week, Clutch. Thank you so much. I'm sorry you weren't here last week. I don't know if did you get my messages? Because I tried to Twitter you on another account. By the way, guys, both of you, when we're in person, I cannot access my Twitter unless I'm on this goddamn computer now. So I'm sorry if I never get back to you in time, but I cannot do it on my new phone. And I tried to can you follow me back on my burner and then we could all talk again, Clutch?
Yeah, I will.
All right, thank you, man. I appreciate it, buddy. All right, guys. Well, we're gonna get on out of here. Peace out. Later.
See you.
See you.